So as we head towards Australia, Melbourne for the opening round of the 2019 Formula One season, we are expecting, and we will have a new set of regulations for the cars. Just tell us what impact the changes to the front and rear wings will have for this season of racing.
It's hard to know what we'll find in Melbourne, but what I do know is that all 10 teams, when they first tried these new regulations out in the wind tunnel, will have had something of a sharp intake of breath, because they did hurt a little, they stung a bit. Exactly how big a sting that would have been in each of the 10 teams is anyone's guess. What I know is that in our own team, it stung a bit, and we've been busy trying to recover that performance in the months since, with that recovery being very steep and very exhilarating. But steep enough? Who knows? How big the initial hit was in our team compared with others? Who knows? And it adds an extra layer of jeopardy and excitement, exhilaration, anxiety onto a time of year which is normally overloaded with those emotions anyway. But this time it's especially sharp and exciting.
So the front wings are going to be wider, and the significance of that is that you have to repackage everything around the brake ducts and managing the airflow to the diffuser. So it's conceptually, in terms of the work you've done, it's not been an easy task.
It hasn't been an easy task, because all of the effort of the last many seasons has been to develop sort of almost fractally complicated geometry on top of these front wings and on the brake ducts, to try to get the air thrown outboard as far as possible. You're trying to throw the air outboard because everything that comes off the back of this tyre is really damaging to the rest of the car, really destroys the downforce. If you can throw it out far enough, it doesn't hit the back of the car and you get more downforce. So all the complication that we've been used to seeing multiply season on season at the front of the cars, all that's wiped away in a stroke with these new regulations. And we've had to try to find, using subtlety rather than the brute force of all this furniture, we've tried to find ways in which to recover that effect of dealing with the front tyre wake in order to recover the performance that these regulations swept away when we first tried them.
Formula One has got big plans for 2021 to try and change the formula to make it more exciting, and 2019 is a revision on those to essentially to combat and to try and increase the opportunities for overtaking. Do you think that will have the desired effect, or do you think the teams will have claimed back enough points of downforce to negate that desire?
Well, I think the 2019 regulations are a sort of brave attempt in the time that was available to make a step in the right direction. I think it's hard to judge how big an effect it will have. My guess would be that the effect on the racing of the 19 regulations will be modest at best. But let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope it's actually a good step forward on overtaking. But they were the first thing that the sport could do in limited time. For 2021, there is of course much more time for the regulator, for the technical group at FOM, and also for the contribution of the teams to come up with a set of regulations that hopefully is robust enough and large enough to have the sort of effect that we're seeking to try to get the close racing and the overtaking that everyone likes in the sport, the teams and the fans alike. So with a bit of luck and with the time that we have for 2021, that will be something that will be delivered.
Finally, you've worked with a lot of great drivers in your career, and what Lewis Hamilton achieved last year was brilliant in his 5th World Championship, and he got stronger throughout the year. Can you just reflect on his qualities that he brings to the team and his performances last year, and whether you be able to see him raise the bar in his competitive levels even further into this coming season?
Well, I think when I was sitting at the end of 2017, having, as the Mercedes team, just won the 2 championships, and seen the team get stronger through the year, and more specifically Lewis get get stronger and stronger as that championship progressed. I felt, well, that's impressive, the way he brought more and more focus to the championship as the final races bore down on us, and I thought, well, that's really a very strong characteristic to have from a driver, and I imagine that's what he gives. It's my first year with him, and so while I was expecting the same sort of strengthening that I'd seen in 17, I was expecting to see that play out again in 18. I don't think any of us really anticipated the sublime performances that we saw in 18, just metronomic and monotonic in the way that they just got better and better. And I think that he would look back on that year as the finest he's delivered yet. But his character is one of always seeking to better the bar he'd previously set. So I know that he finished last year on a high, but utterly determined to come back this year in 19, not just finish with the strength that we saw, but also to come out the blocks in that way. He set himself a ludicrously high bar last year, but his intention is to better it. And if he does, well, we can all look forward to that as quite a prospect. And I can only hope that that's indeed what we see.